Hi, konnichiwa. My name is Ryuta Aoki. As Anna and Shelley mentioned, I'm artist and independent curator based in Tokyo, working in between art and science. And first of all, thank the Buxton Contemporary, ACCA, and everybody who make this happen. And it's really honor to be here because I live in Perth when I was a kid, so so it's really special to me to speak here in Australia. And I was inspired by the Joseph Beuys idea, social sculpture, that shaping society itself can be a form of art. While I'm creating artwork, I conduct artistic R&D project and the organize event, including exhibition and conference, and also the collaborating with the researcher, not only at the university and also the institution and the corporate ones. And I'm also entrepreneur. I mentioned a little bit about my studio later, and I have found my own artistic R&D studio, and I co-founded with a deep tech startup themed about artificial life research. Artificial life research is to explore what is alive with computer and the robotics and the chemical reactions with a professor of the University of Tokyo. And also I co-founded artist management company who artists for related Japanese tea ceremony. And today I like to sharing my several artworks and So how many of you were at the FACT last week? Not so many. It's okay. Oh, great. Oh, two. Okay, great. If you already here, it's almost same talk, so it might be boring, but you can get sleep. Anyway, so let me start with one of my key works, biosculpture. As all of you all might know, the catastrophic disaster bushfire in Australia between 2019 and 2020. Over 24 million hectares burned and an estimated 3 billion animals are killed or displaced. Now, I was truly shocked by this disaster. Even this size of disaster, nature would probably recover itself over maybe one or two several decades, reshaping itself to its environment. But if it's human who caused this, and countless creatures suffer in meantime, events just bring in the geographical planetary scale of time. I thought, isn't there some kind of band-aid-like technology we could offer? That was a naive and simple question that also triggered to start crafting my artwork. Technology and human-made things in general has always been crafted for human benefit. But in Japan, you might see this kind of things. There's a culture offering things of food to the god and revering stones, the forest as sacred. Start on this idea of suffering. What kind of technology could exist or evolve if we open it to nature, not for human, but for natural ecosystems? So I crafted work named biosculpture, working with Professor Hiroya Tanaka, who is the father of digital fabrication in Japan, and his laboratory at Keio University. They developed a custom 3D printer that excludes the soil. And I call the coral leaf growth pattern, and it's embedded in the algorithm to shape the sculpture. And you see the mosses, its 9 species are placed on the surface based on sunlight simulation. It's a sculpture can retain moisture more than most soils, a sculpture for living organisms. It's different exhibition I did. I always, as I mentioned, I collaborate with a researcher, and not only the exhibition, but also give them like kind of a research place to getting the data or analyze them. So in this video, this 3D printer can extend up to 30 meter scale. But you see, like, it's mixed and some husks and soil, and controlled by a human, and it's winch style 3D printer. It's excluded to you see like that one. So as it mentioned, it retain the moisture more than the mere soils. So, but this is as you say, is a stationary. But my ultimate vision is I want to make it movable. Imagine this printer moving autonomously like a Roomba, wandering the landscape and dropping seeds of ecosystem on its own, a world where technology keeps making offering to nature without any human instruction. So I like to realize this final vision here in Australia. If you know of any research institution or artist or curator that might be interesting and to cooperate with me, please let me know. So next, I'd like to introduce a work related to Japanese tea ceremony thing. Have you ever experienced Japanese tea ceremony before? Here, people? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's okay. Great. Most people outside Japan tend to think of the tea ceremony as a simple drinking green tea, matcha. But it's more actually total art of form. Architecture, garden, ceramics, calligraphy, flower arrangement, and confectionery, in sweets, lacquer work, cuisine, tea, dance, and so on. All of these are integrated into the space of tea. 450 years ago, when the Japanese tea ceremony culture was spread all over Japan, there was no digital technology back then, of course. So what developed instead of was specially technologies through architecture and shared spiritual protocols installed in the mind. So to speak, the evoke images through the language of space and home. I think this is one example of what the people often call high context communication in Japan. So we don't talk much, we just share space. So various protocols are installed in our mind. Take a haiku, for example, a single keyword. So nowadays we call it prompt. So invoke vivid image in your head. So, sorry, I didn't show you it. But in 2016, I co-founded an art collective called the Tea Room, dedicated to reinterpreting Japanese tea ceremony tradition and culture through contemporary technology and culture. It brings together specialized artisans and artists from the field. So, like flower artist, architect, or hanger craftsman, and reinterpreted these cultures. Traditional culture with contemporary culture and technologies. Yes, and when you visit to the Japanese garden, you sometimes find the word inscribed on stone there. They describe scene from distant province. You see the front of the photo, you can see the word inscribed the stone, so that I mentioned. This is mentioned about somewhere, not there. So not place where you are standing, but when you read them, a kind of the VR system in your mind evoked. So the people will enjoy that imagination or use it as a form of mental disciplining. And the tea ceremony, there is a concept called logi, the garden or garden path in English. And it varies by school of tea ceremony design, but there are typical 2 stages. The outer logi and the inner logi. The logi is, as I mentioned, it's a garden, but it's for us, it's a device that gradually detach your mind from secular world, your ordinary life. So it's really hard to see, but the right upper corner is kind of the, this one, left side is the entrance. You see the number. So this is, we follow the number, and finally goes to the end of the queue. That was the kind of path. So once you enter the Japanese garden, have you ever entered, see the Japanese garden, right? So you know the green thing and the stone there. So you can simply, it's as I mentioned, it depends on school of the Japanese tea ceremony. Japanese tea ceremony has a 4 major school, but we are doing the Ura Senkei's one. So it basically consists of 4, 5 like spaces, and once you enter, you go to the 2 space and 3, and this called the outer garden. And if you enter if you go beyond to the gate, which is numbered 4, you see the inner garden. So if you enter the outer garden, outer lodge is planted with a familiar tree that changes with the seasons. So it means you feel ordinary life there. As you enter the inner garden, it's called uchiroji in Japanese. They gradually give away to evergreen, drawing you into a spiritual realms. After several steps, you finally reach the tea room with a small entrance. You see this really small. It's quite seems bigger, but it's really small, even like this size. So even it's designed. It's called nijiriguchi. It's a technology. Kind of it's spatial architectural technology, and it's designed so that even the most powerful lord or general must bow to enter. So affordance that stripe away social status. So in the world of the tea ceremony, the tatami room is understood as a microcosm. There are calligraphy and flower curated by tea masters. That's why we call it like a tea master as a curator and producer, and it's total of the art. And within the space, you converse as a higher dimension being. So sometimes no words are spoken at all. The curated object alone carries a message. Yes. And this is one we created, we interpreted these spiritual protocols through contemporary technology. Our work, it might look like contemporary, but it's if people from the era could see it, they might actually feel it's quite regression in some ways, because we lost the skill to see the world. We really rely on the technology. So one of these works, as I mentioned so many times, Sotology, is outer garden. It's an attempt to recreate the logi, the passage where consciousness shifts in different form using a digital technology. So outer garden has to be more, like you have to put some kind of ordinary things. So I put this QR code. I use a 100,000 QR code to depict kind of picture. So QR code become like kind of ordinary things for our life. And the QR code, of course, as an interface and physical space and cyber space. Yes, if you see the 1,000 QR code, people cannot avoid to scan the QR code. This is showing the affordance we already installed in today. So, but I'm really grateful that I was selected for the Ethereum Foundation first ever for us the scholarship and exhibit the work at the International Developer Conference in Bangkok in 2024. And also, I'm really excited to exhibit my work at the Advanced Research Institution of Denso. Denso is the second largest manufacturer, supplier, and inventor of the QR code. Yes, and the third one, this is a work named Artificial Moons. I have a time, okay? And, Artificial Moon is a light sculpture themed around the existing born from the chain of coincidences. During the pandemic, I believe that everyone was reflecting on the nature of a new reality. Drawing inspiration from the ancient East Asian tradition of tsukimi, it means moon viewing. We Japanese and Chinese, Korean, appreciating viewing a moon. It's a bit different from the Western, right? Western people, if you see the moon, become turned to the wolf. but we not. We appreciate it. Anyway, I created 9 virtual moons in the digital space. 4 months and a half, their light was projected onto a 150-meter skyscraper every night. I've come to realize that for many traditional festivals, the original origins are often unclear. We are festival doing every year, but we don't know why we're doing. So what truly matters is the movement, or the act itself is so important. So it made me wonder, what is a necessary matter or action to keep creating new culture? Since ancient times, humans have gazed the moon, something not strictly necessary for biological survival, and developed various cultural practices around it. If the sun is the source of life, then the moon is the source of culture. I choose the moon as a motif to symbolize the creation of the cultural movement. So I developed a custom lighting system that synchronizes with the movement of those 9 virtual moons in digital space. Ordinarily in Japan, projects like this is impossible, but unless it's part of major art festival. But perhaps because of COVID-19, people going a bit crazy, so we managed it to show in the 1.5 months in the city. So yeah, this is a third one, and this is a unique lighting. So it's not projection mapping thing, but I created the light 16 brightest moving light you can occur in Japan, and the making kind of reflection things to make kind of rainbow edge thing. But anyway, and my latest work is alternative computations. I presented in this last January in Tokyo as a solo show within the part of the Quantum Art Festival. It starts with a single question. When the computation is fixed slowly as a tool for efficiency, what is lost? The world converges into a single world view, but it wasn't always this way. Japan has its own, as you might know, own indigenous mathematics. It's called Wasan. It was an Edo period culture, almost 400, 500 years ago. It was really appreciate the people living there alongside haiku and tea ceremony. Of course, it was used for practical calculation too, but that wasn't all. Beautiful solutions were offered at the shrine and temple and celebrating, and computation was not only the calculation, and it's also the prayer, offering, and celebration. But the 17th century, moreover, 17th century, was a mathematician, Seki Takakazu, discovered the concept of determinants 10 years before Leibniz, and arrived at a Bernoulli number a year before Jacob Bernoulli. Wasan would reach the remarkable high level of mathematical development entirely on its own. But during Meiji Restoration in the late 19th century, understanding Western mathematics was necessary to understanding Western mathematics was necessary to import Western technology. So the government introduced the Western mathematics into our education system, and the Japanese mathematics wasn't gradually fade away. So the philosopher Yukuhoi proposed a concept called cosmotechnics. This is a video, my work I exhibit just last month. Yukuhoi has proposed a concept called cosmotechnics, the idea that every culture generates its own technological cosmos. So I express this is a kind of symbol structure of the kind of universe, a cosmos. So, but anyway, so the disappearance of Wasan means exactly that one cosmos was lost. The universe was we know it, it isn't only possible. There could have been as many alternative universes as there are cultures. The gunpowder can become a gun, or it can become a fireworks. Drawing on Wasan's spirit of celebration, I want to explore the fireworks way of using technology. that the thinking behind this installation. 28, you see the 28 things. It's called the Wasan calculation lots. It's Sangi. Orbit overhead as the 28 mansion of East Asian cosmology. And this expressed in as a heaven. And beneath, maybe you see later, 4.5 tatami mat. As I mentioned earlier, tatami is think as a microcosm tea ceremony. This is the earth. As you may know, classical computers, the digital computer originally derived from the musical instrument. With that in mind, I built a musical instrument powered by quantum computer with the technical support from the Professor Naoki Yamamoto, director of the Quantum Computing Center in Keio University. At its core is quantum reservoir computing. It's really difficult to explain, but if you use the quantum computing, quantum noise is a really matter of things. Then the quantum computer researcher try to reject of them. The quantum noise is a byproduct that mainstream quantum computer try to eliminate as unwanted. But it can be harnessed a rich computation resources. This is a quantum computing, quantum reservoir computing. So Wasan's festivity spirit of finding value in what isn't utilitarian and quantum reservoir computing ability to turn the discarded into a creative resources. So I'm layering these two together. Data is fed into the reservoir computing and fell as the audio lane. It's an experience of listening to the computation. So between heaven and earth and dancer and the tea master enter, they are not only the performer, but they are also player of this instrument, and it's also pilot of this device. The camera capture their movement and the gesture data into quantum reservoir, and the range shifts and celestial bodies move, which is Sangi, the black one. The offering become a feedback loop because it's captured the camera. Every 28 minutes, one universe and another begins. Because quantum noise is physically unreproducible, the same universe never appears twice. This is not like nostalgia for a lost tradition. It is a construction of an alternative computation that praise, offers, and celebration. So I'm really grateful that despite I show this one only 4 days, but 4,500 people come to see, because despite it's really difficult topic, because quantum computing is a bit difficult and it's only for scientists, but the young people love this kind of theme. So, and even Japanese people doesn't know what the Wasan is, so it's good to reinterpret these things with contemporary technology too. So yeah, finally let me share what I'm working on now. Last year, I visit in New York and discuss so many people, and I have doing a project since 2023. That is a project promoting cultures which reinterpreting traditions, folklore, mythology, contemporary culture, subculture in each region with a contemporary technology and thoughts. So when you interpret these things through the contemporary technologies, something emerges that isn't imported from everywhere, a vision of the future native to this region on soil. So I think it's this really quite different from what we usually call media art or art and tech. Usually technology isn't the goal. The core is unearthing cultural roots through the contemporary technology, creating new forms of narrative and envision alternative future together. So reinterpreting local tradition and culture is a form of revaluation with education dimension too, but I believe it goes further than that. We are living in an age of division rather than forcing grand narrative and asking people to believe in them to build connections. I believe people can connect deeply to their own local history and form their discover familiar community that build new relationships. I think of this, you might know the Kintsugi. Kintsugi is a Japanese way of the techniques of melting broken ceramics with the gold. So we actually consider Kintsugi is a very beautiful object than the originals. Even it's broken, you can fix together by yourself. So this is a beautiful. So the world today is in fractured. But what if through the Kintsugi an even more beautiful world is possible? The fracture created by politics and capital rejoining through the artist's practice made stronger and more beautiful. So now I'm engaging a discussion centered around East Asian curators and artists. Ultimately, I'd like to organize a festival around this theme. As a first step, I'm my friend and curator aiming to launch an award from around 2027 and build from there to more, make it the festival interesting. And also I'm now building a space Tokyo with a residency program. And also, as I mentioned, I've been in New York and I'm looking for the space in New York too. And I'm back in New York in next May with my team masters. And if you are interested to collaborate with the Japan or Tokyo, if you have any idea, please, I'd love to hear about it and meet you. So one quick announcement, the next June, in several months later, I'll be exhibiting my artwork, Science Gallery, Melbourne. If you make it to the opening, please come. Thank you very much.